Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. I do like to be beside the sea. And I am definitely by the sea today, boys and girls. So it's a little bit of a different coffee with Scruff.
Matron, take them away.
And a warm welcome to one and all. This is your first time here. I'm the big fella Scruff, and as you can see, I'm not exactly at home. I'm actually on the island of Sal in Cape Verde off the coast of Africa. And why? Because that's the beauty of Forex trading. I can do what I like when I like. And that suits me down to the ground because I do burn out every sort of 8 weeks or so. And I need a little bit of a break, which is why if you follow the channel, you kind of see me travel quite a bit. Why not? Beauty of what I do. But do I love what I do? Yeah, every day. I love the charts, I love the way it moves, but more importantly, I love the job. And that's what this is. It's a job. And even though I'm on holiday, I still feel compelled to do the job. Because part of my job is moderating a group called the Scruffy Squad. And this last couple of months has been, let's just say, a bit testing. Because as it's grown, there's still not a lot of people in it. But there's a lot of personalities in it. And they're pulling from one direction to the next. And sometimes they'll lose their way and you've got to try and guide them the right way. Or they're seeing something that's doing well, so they've now decided to system hop. And it's trying to evolve these guys as traders. Because if you're system hopping and you're jumping from one way to the next, then you're jumping from time frame to the next and multiple assets, it gets too much and you actually lose what you're trying to do. And in a way, that's kind of what's happening to me. I was spinning too many plates with that group and I lost focus and I actually made mistakes. If you saw a video, you see that I popped an account because I made a dreadful mistake. You know, I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing and I paid for it daily. And because of that, it set me back, not financially, because I've got my main account and it does very well, and I've got my other supplementary accounts that do very well. But it set me back psychologically because it's a mistake I've never made in a very long time. And I decided I needed to step out of it. And that's why I'm here. You know, so Coffee with Scruff is normally me in my study with a cup of coffee, ranting and raving. I'll probably still rant and rave in this, to be honest. But it's that hot, as you can see. So it's coffee with Fanta today. Because it is, it's scorching here. As you can see, I'm burnt to buggery. And the amount of travel I do, you would think that I would learn. That I would learn to put sun cream on and respect the conditions around me. But I haven't, so I'm burnt. But that raised another question. Do traders respect the conditions that are around them? Because when I'm looking at life, I always try to look at how that affects my trading. You might have heard the saying that trading is 90% mindset and 10% execution. Well, it is to a degree. But if you don't know what you're looking for, you need a lot more than 10%. Trust me. And mindset, well, you've either got it or you haven't. You can read as many books as you like, you can listen to as many gurus as you like, because I've been to these motivational places and you're brilliant for about 20 minutes. And then afterwards, you're still you. Because there's only you knows you. There are little tricks and things you can use to help. For me, I listen to music, as you know, I play with my toys, as you know, and I've got a broady sense of humour. But they're mechanisms to stop me from fidgeting, you know. The mindset, I've been driven to move forward my entire life. You know, from being a small boy of 11-year-old. You know, I've told you the story in sort of one of the lifestyle videos that I've done about how I figured out if I do this, I get that at 11 years old, because I wanted a set of ice boots. My parents couldn't afford them, but my gran said, why don't you save the money to buy them? So I did odd jobs, washed cars, weeded grass, got myself 2 paper rounds, that sort of thing. And I saved every penny I got across the summer till I bought them of my own. And that taught me a very valuable lesson. Nobody's going to give it to you. And if you watch any of my videos, and certainly there's a one coming soon, I have 0 time for freeloaders and whingers. None whatsoever. You know, I have had some heartbreaking times in my life. Heartbreaking. And I've reset my life a number of times and nobody's given me a thing. Nothing. I've always done it on my own. You know, even when my company collapsed, which coming on to the 6th anniversary of that collapsing, nobody helped me. In fact, it was the reverse. People didn't want to know me. Because when you're down the golf club and you're seeing that you're making a lot of money, everyone wants to know you. But when they see that you lose money, nobody wants to know you. Because the whole world is in it for themselves. And I see that over and over. You know, I'll help people to get better in their life. And, well, there's one of the members said something. When you have nothing, everyone wants to share. But when you have something, it's mine. And I've noticed that. You know, you give somebody something, suddenly you don't exist anymore. That's quite a strange concept. And that's called greed. And that resonates over into the markets. Now, greed is the most destructive force going. And I've seen it time and time again. Which is why money doesn't concern me. You know, the end result concerns me. I do this, I get that. It doesn't matter what's in the middle. And if I can't afford it, well, I can't afford it. It's that simple. And, well, where am I going with this one? Well, really, it's about spinning plates. And as I was saying, I was burning out. And I was burning out. These last couple of months have been very testing. Trying to please everybody. And ultimately, you piss some people off. Some people take it as a personal attack. Some people like it. And you're trying to juggle all these personalities. But eventually, you've got to make a decision. Because the one person I wasn't pleasing was myself. Because when you try and please everybody, it's yourself that falls flat. And it did. And it cost me. So I guess that's where I'm going with all of this. And then to put it over into metaphors into the markets, I think if you're trying to spin too many plates, you will fall flat. So, for example, if you're looking at 28 pairs, 4 indices and a couple of commodities, do you really think you've got enough focus on each one of those assets? No. And I did have a question last week about the amount of assets I trade, because they look at my strength sheet and I'm all saying, well, you're looking at all the pairs and you're looking at this and you're looking at that. You're trading too many assets. And I was thinking about this. I don't. I trade 4 assets mainly, which is FTSE, the DAX, Eurodollar and cable. That's it. They're my go-to markets every day. Occasionally I'll look at the Dow and I'll look at the Nasdaq. Why? Normally because I'm asked to do it. But I don't mind because they move roughly the same as the assets that I trade. But then that raises another question. If I didn't show you the asset and I just showed you the chart, would you actually know what it is? Possibly not. So this comes back to, is it mindset over technical? Well, you need the technical ability. The mindset just gives you the fortitude to kill your losses when you're wrong and know when to walk away when you're right. Now that's something that might sort of spark you up a little bit. What do you mean, walk away when you're right? Well, if you've been paid, why the hell are you going back to market? You know, let sleeping dogs lie, as they say. And that's the thing, because I have a mantra that I loosely stick to, score, score, stop. Basically means if I go to market, I'm only really going to market twice. Now, inside of those twice there might be multiple trades, but it's actually a single trade broken up. So it looks more than what it actually is. But once I'm paid, I'll walk away and then I'll do it again the next day. Because if we squint back to greed, that greed can actually damage me. And that's something we don't want. So how else can you do it? Well, you can think about the money aspect. Well, if you think about the money, and you'll see plenty on YouTube, oh, I'm a millionaire and I've got a less than 50% hit rate. I think it was the last video that was shown to me. Well, you're playing a numbers game there. I'm of the belief that if you're under 50%, you're gambling. And why? Because you should be getting it right more than you should be getting it wrong. It's that simple. It's a job. And if you're getting your job wrong more than you get it right, well, you're not really very good at that job. So that's something that I do think about. And think about who tells you this. People who are normally selling you something. You're shit at your job, but I'm going to pay you anyway. Everybody will buy that. You know. To tell them that you're going to be good at your job and it takes hard work, well, that's a hard sell. That's maybe why I get kicked in the bollocks, because I constantly tell you, if you ain't putting the work in, you're not getting anything. And if you're expecting it for free, you're definitely not getting anything, because a freeloader will never make it in this world. That's just the nature of life. But anyway, cut long story short, when you see me looking at multiple assets, I'm not. I'll filter multiple assets. And that's what my strength sheet does. It filters everything down. And I look at my 4 primaries, and if there's nothing there, I'll look at the strongest from that filter. And I'll trade that. Why? Because there's a high chance of movement on that product. And then I go back to, well, what if I hid the chart? Would you know what it is? No. So I'm going to trade the conditions that's in front of me. But you need to recognize the conditions. And I'd like to think I'm pretty good at it. You know, I can see the high, the low, where it's going to push to, all of this sort of thing. And why? Experience. X does not mark the spot. And there is nothing new in trading. You sell high and you buy low. But the trick is knowing at what point. But also inside of that, you need to know where your continuations are, your retracements, but more importantly, you need to know common sense. And that's where the famous quote that I often use comes in. Know thyself, it is the beginning of wisdom. So you need to know what your pain thresholds are. How much am I willing to take on to get X amount? You need to know whether you're a fidget. If you're a fidget, you need to know how to walk away. And then also, you need to know what your pleasure point is. How much do I want from this? And then apply common sense to it. If you want £100,000 a year and you've got a £2,000 account, it ain't happening. You know. But if you said you wanted £4,000, all right, it's a tall order. It's doubling the account in the year. But it is possible. That's common sense. But this industry is sold on pipe dreams in the land of la-la. And that's why you fail. Because you're chasing too big a position. You put positions on that are way too big for the size of the account. And great when you win, but the haymaker will take you out when it hits you. So you have to apply common sense to your pain threshold. All right, I might have a big position on, but I need to know how to get out, because if I'm wrong, this is going to hurt. And sometimes that pain can be enough to kill the account. And you've got to be careful of that. Now, there are ways you can get around that. Recently been doing the small share account. And I've enjoyed doing it, and I'm going to continue it. It's taken a bit of a pounding this month because of the banking. Here, let's have a quick look. We'll jump on the screen. Okay, guys, let's have a quick look at this share account. We started this the beginning of December 22, and we're now coming to the end of March 23, which is the end of our tax year. And I'll be restarting this with some news sheets next week, obviously beginning of April, because our tax year runs April through April. And that's the same as my company tax year, which runs April to April, which is where this is all put into. Now, we took a bit of a punch in this month due to the uncertainty of the banks that was heavily sort of in the news. And I did have Lloyds and Barclays as some shares, and it took a bit of a smacking. But that's just one of them things. Am I going to cry about it? Nah, not really. But if we look down, what we've got to remember is this is a swing trade, or a swing account rather. So I expect the losses to be there anyway. But I still expect to have a greater than 50% win rate. Why? Because you should always be reading the markets. And even though this is a systematic system of a two-stage trigger on the trend, you still have to monitor the conditions as you manage the trade. Now, at the moment, that needs to be better, but it's still okay. But our win rate is holding 65%, and the part that you pay attention to is the return rate, which is 1.16, and as long as it's above 1, it is deemed profitable. So I'm quite happy with that in its picture. So it's not that bad, and this looks a little bit rough. As you can see, it's just lost a reasonable amount of profit over the last month. Must be better, but our growth is 24.3% from the start, and it's the year end. So this has grown 24% in the last quarter, because it's essentially been 3 months a quarter, if you like. So okay, I'm quite happy with this. And then moving forward, we've got a bigger balance to start with, and we'll look to push that on. So it's not as bad as it looks. Yes, people can mock the money and say it's small, and we'll touch on that. However, if you're chasing money you've already lost, but if I put that into the bank, there's not a bank on the planet would give me that return. So sometimes being master of your own destiny is a good thing, and the best thing is patience. So let's carry on and see where we're going. And yeah, so all right, it's had a hard time this last month of the year, but it's been running since the beginning of December, as shown. But it's outperformed every bank on the planet, every single one of them. So the losses ain't a problem. You know, you just got to accept them, as long as they don't kill the account. That's the thing. And then from there, I decided that I'll put a poll up to see where this channel is going this year, and ultimately where my Scruffy squad is going as well. And at the moment, it's kind of mixed into, it's predominantly small account building, but there's still a good amount wants to see the bigger account. So maybe drop it in the comments and tell me, or drop onto that poll and put it on. But I'm kind of swaying along the lines of doing maybe a bit of both. And then that way, again, it's like spinning plates with the Scruffy squad, trying to please everybody, which is a feat in itself. It really is, guys. It really is. But I'm going to please myself. And if it suits people, great. And if it doesn't, well, it's been lovely knowing you and all of that sort of thing, but I can only be me. You know, I don't mind sharing my knowledge, and I don't mind giving bits and pieces away, but I'm not going to sort of bend over backwards and kill myself when I get no thanks for it, sort of thing. So that sounds a bit brutal, but at the same time, it might stop me burning out and then make me a better trader. Because the day you stop learning is the day you kind of finished. I was told something in business a long time ago. The quickest way to go backwards in business is stand still. And I believe that. It is true. You have to move with the times. And we are evolving. But when I'm saying the times, I don't mean how I trade and the way I trade. I have to evolve in lifestyle. And what I mean by that is the cost of living is going up. So I have to give myself a pay rise this year. So that is me evolving. But what it also means is I'm putting extra stress into me. Why? Because I'm now moving out of a comfort zone. I'm comfortable with about 25 quid a point, and I can open up 2 positions, which is good. You know, so that's about 50 quid a point at risk at any one time if I want to push the boat out. But I'm a conservative trader. I don't like to run 2 assets at once, or I'll rephrase that. I don't like to run 2 at risk assets at once. If I've got one that's risk free, I'll open up another one. And you see that in the way that I run the share account and sort of my car account, etc. I'll only open up an asset when one's risk free and I'm moving forward. When I'm day trading, I like just one. Just one. Now, I have showboated in the past when I'm goaded into it, and it takes it out of me. It really does stress me out. But I do it through experience. And if you haven't seen my experience, see some of my statements. Because I was questioned the other day about nobody's as good as you. Well, they are. In fact, I'm not the best trader around. I'm far from it. But I am consistent. And why? Because I was shown by good people and I aspire to be good people. But I'm not greedy, guys. I get in, I get out. That's it. I don't go back to market when I don't need to. And because I get in and I get out and I wait for the setup, of course my hit rate's going to be high. Because I'm not just chasing around the market. It's common sense. So, really, these are just the rambles of a lunatic on a Saturday afternoon. And in some ways, to try and inspire you with your trading and tell you that it is possible, but also to show you there's a different way of trading. And that different way is common sense, you know. And I'm privileged to have been recognised by my peers. Here we are. I'll give you a quick screenshot of this. Okay, guys, this is a screenshot of Traders Day Live. I will drop a link for this in the comments below. It should also be a little discount there for you because I'm one of the guest speakers. What is it? Well, it's an educational expo rather than just sort of trying to sell you something. It's where you'll see sort of traders like myself who have done the job and we know what we're doing. Now, there is a full list of people that are going to be there. Some you may recognise. Steve Ward, he's been around for a very long time. Michael, of course. Mark Holstead from UK Spread Betting, been around the industry forever. And if we come down, you've got Anna. Again, I touch base with Anna quite regularly, to be honest. And if you haven't seen her little YouTube channel, do find Anna FX. She's a really good girl and she knows her stuff. And then as you come down into here, whoops, sorry, flicked it to the back of the top. You'll recognize Sol. Sol's often on live streams throughout the week for a company called the 5%ers, which is a prop fund I trade for personally myself. Knows his stuff and he's a good guy. And I'm not so sure about this fella at the bottom though. Yeah, you might get on the stage and tell a dirty joke or two. No, I'm actually very privileged to be on that stage and share some of my knowledge and show you a journey of building small accounts into a decent sized livable wage account. And why? Because I've done it and I've shown you how to do it. And if you see, this is the agenda that we're going through. And you will find me in the growth zone. Now this is where you'll be able to come and you'll find out all about trading from grassroots up. And in there, I'll be on the stage with Charlie Burting. Charlie's on first, and then it's coming into myself. And in the afternoon, there'll be Q&A with all of the traders, and I'll be around there all day if you just want to come and have a cup of coffee with me. So it's going to be a great event. I'm looking forward to being there. And let's jump back on the camera and carry on. That is Traders Day Live. I'm privileged to be speaking at that this year, and every single person that's on that stage has been vetted. In other words, our statements are checked, they seem to be legit, and we're going to be there speaking on behalf of you guys. We're trying to show our experience because we've been there, got the t-shirt, we've got the battle scars, and now we're on the other side. And for those who doubt what I say, come along to this expo. There's a link for it in the comments, and because I'm a guest speaker, there is a discount code there for you that I'm willing to give you. Just trying to give you a little bit of value, and that's why I do the live streams on a Sunday night. So every other Sunday there's Ask Scruff. If you can't make it, drop a question in any of the comments of the videos that I do, and I'll bring it up, and I'll try and show you it in a different way. And if you are interested in seeing trading fully, drop into the Scruffy squad. It's a chaotic bunch in the sense that we are as mad as a box of frogs, because I don't allow dickheads in there, I don't allow bullies, there's no self-promotion, there's no recruitment, nothing. It's just a bunch of guys that are all on a level playing field because we're all the same, and we have a good time, and we lift each other up every single day. That's the ethos of that group. But in the mix of it all, I'll try and show you the way, you know. And there is the course, the way of the Scruff. And it's everything that I see and look at on a daily basis. But that means nothing if you haven't got the heart and the willingness to learn the craft in the first place. Nobody's going to give it to you guys. You've got to do it yourself. And if you can do it yourself, you stand tall, you're respectful, and your bank will just look after itself. It's that simple. So there we go. Happy days. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to enjoy the rest of the sun. Winky, strange girl, love of my life, is enjoying the gym. God only knows why. So I'm sitting here enjoying the views behind me. I don't know if you can see it if the camera's not in, but just out there is the ocean front. Beautiful garden sitting on the veranda. And I'm having a wonderful time. And would I recommend coming to the island of Sal? Yeah, very, very peaceful. If you just want to come and read a book, watch the world go by and listen to the birds chirping, perfect place. So I needed it to unwind. So as always, guys, trade well, keep your risk managed, but above all, do what you love, and the money will follow. See you all in the next one.